Sure. Physically, yes. Mentally, debatable.
Your microphone is only about 70% here.
Is it? Is it though?
Hi, I would love to see that sweet, sweet Twitch chat. Yeah.
I'm sure it's so full, engorged.
How are there 7 people waiting on this stream?
What?
Well, hi
No
guys.
way. Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Church of Chonkwij podcast. My name is DrNiggle. I'm joined tonight by Masami 0 and OmegaConstruct. Is that permanent? Never mind. OmegaConstruct. And it's been a fantastic week for gaming.
Tell us how
Has it,
fantastic.
though?
But has it? It's been pretty fantastic. Actually, I want to start this up with a brand new article that just got posted that I haven't read at all, and I believe it's that a Mega Man documentary has been deemed too sexy by YouTube's baffling content rules.
So, not so much sexy as the guy said 19 swear words in the span of a 20 or what was it, like 19 swear words in the total of like a 78-minute video, and it has been removed or has been deemed too sexy due to excessive sexuality, is the way it was put.
Speaking of which, I have no idea what you're playing, Omega, but please God, play more of it.
You just missed the fun, like, catty conversations they're having.
Oh.
But
So
yes,
yeah, what it was just language used in the video.
yeah, pretty much. I mean, he used 19 swear words in a 70+ minute video, and they deemed it too sexual.
All right.
So
Alright.
that's a thing.
Twitch NSFW or something. I don't know.
That's
It's
us.
a butt.
Wait,
Everybody's got butts.
It's censored.
There,
Look,
yeah,
game
no,
has
it's
its
good.
own built-in
Yeah.
censorship. It's all
It
blurred.
does. Yeah, it's got the blur bars. No, we're totally good. We're totally good on this.
Can't see
Is
it
it-
there.
This is what those 7 people were waiting for, by the way.
nice blurred butts.
I actually was going to... I assume, Omega, you are playing a Metro game for a good reason, which we're about to talk about.
Yeah. Yep, I'm playing Metro. Which one is this? Last Light Redux? This is the Metro game from, I think, 2015. So it's not the most recent one. My computer, I don't think, is capable of playing the most recent one. But one of the animators that was a part of the company, it's slipping my name. What is it? 4A Games, I believe. It was a Ukrainian studio that a number of years back they moved their headquarters to Malta to be in the EU, but they still kept developers an office in Ukraine. Well, yeah, one of their animators was killed in the war. So put your F's in chat. And fucking sucks. Fuck Putin.
Yep. The man's name was Andriy Korzinkin, and he was an animator. There's a memorial tweet on Twitter that features one of the rough videos for an animation style that Andriy actually did himself, and they're not exaggerating that this is fucking impressive. Dude was obviously a talented artist, and he was killed, quote, while performing a combat mission in the struggle for independence, sovereignty, and territorial integrity of Ukraine. So yeah, it's a grim reminder that there are a lot of really good people who are dying because Vladimir Putin has a hard-on for Soviet-era politics. So fuck him.
Yep.
And let's just be glad that, you know, whatever your political opinions are, Yeah, I am certainly anti-war, but I am glad that we are in a country that has a powerful professional army, and we're not in a position to have to send our game developers out to protect our nation, and be thankful for what you got. When a place like Ukraine is dealing with fucking ridiculous situation of territorial conquest from a neighbor in 2022, what the fuck?
Yeah. One more time. Smack, 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 and... Where's that flip? There it is. Boom. So, anyway.
It fucking sucks that, we live in a world where this is a thing, because this should not have been a thing.
Yeah,
Like,
shouldn't be,
legitimately, it should not be a thing. This man should still be alive.
Yeah. But that's the somber news, and the podcast is still titled Standing with Ukraine, and it will be. Till this is fucking done. I know I'm paying attention to... I'm still on the Reddit Live news feed, and keeping up with daily news, so I encourage everybody to do the same.
Didn't they, didn't Ukraine just recently sign their application to NATO?
Yeah,
No.
they've put in their fast-tracked application,
Right.
and we'll have to see what happens.
Very important distinction to make there. They definitely want in NATO, but they are not in NATO yet.
Yeah, they put in their application.
It's not going to happen, because if they are accepted into NATO, the minute those signatures are put on the page, we are at war with Russia.
All of us are at war. Yeah, the only way that a country gets in is if they are not in a current conflict. So
that's actually, I was actually looking into that. That's not actually a rule. There's a document that lists guidelines for entrance. Like there are official like NATO documents that have guidelines for entrance, but they're not actual requirements. So it's, heavily suggested that applicant nations are not currently in any territorial conflicts or border disputes with their neighbors. But, if NATO wants to fucking admit somebody, they're going to do it. They're not going to not do it if they want to, but they're not going to do it because they don't want to go to war with Russia. We're just going to keep funneling all sorts of cash and weapons and ammunition and bombs and shit into Ukraine instead, and let them fucking
fight it out
for
themselves.
Their freedom with the benefit of having the most advanced weaponry at their disposal.
They're certainly getting
debt for a long time.
They're certainly getting to the point of having the most advanced hardware at their disposal. They're not quite at the M1A1 tank yet, but getting there.
My Freebrams.
Alright, so yeah, this could very easily just turn into a real-world news podcast, but we're supposed to be a gaming podcast and a technology podcast, blah, 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 all the rest of that. We'll definitely talk about Ukraine at the end of the show. We'll talk about it in the post-show, for fucking sure. But for now, let's knock out a couple other articles, starting with one that Zero is going to main, and Omega's going to probably throw in some thoughts in there too, because this is right up both of your alleys, having to do with the lawsuit decision for Randy Orton's WWE 2K tattoos, which appeared in the 2K game. Actually, we covered this a while ago at the same time that we were covering, I think, Call of Duty. Also got into some trouble with some stock photography that was used for advertising, and this falls under something similar. To recap the lawsuit, the tattoo artist who put those tattoos onto Randy Orton took up a lawsuit against 2K for making the WWE... I don't think 2K was the... No, it is 2K Games. For making the WWE game and featuring his tattoos, her artwork, basically, in the game without any money to her. So she just took up this lawsuit, and the lawsuit has been resolved. Over to you, Zero.
Which the way that they decided the lawsuit, I guess, I mean, for the artist is good, because she did get paid, and I'm all for tattoo artists getting paid. Don't get me wrong. I've got tattoos. I am all for tattoo artists, especially if it's something that they physically designed. But where I draw the line is the fact that once that art is on a person's skin, especially somebody with the notoriety and public facing appearance as somebody like Randy Orton or John Cena or somebody like that, somebody who's got is seen almost weekly on national television, that becomes a public domain issue because she's not getting royalties every single time that artwork is on the TV screen. So by this logic, she could even go further and say, he has a contract with WWE. I need to sue WWE because they're putting him out there weekly. And it sets a very dangerous precedent in video games because in this any tattoo artist, if anybody has a tattoo that is done by a tattoo artist, now this kind of opens that door to say, okay, I'm going to sue this game developer and get my paycheck.
So,
Like
all
I
right,
said, in my opinion, once it is on somebody's body and that person is in the public eye, it becomes public domain. It is open for fair use.
right.
I mean, but that's you. That could be your opinion, but that has no basis at all in law. Like that is you saying that's your opinion. You might as well say your opinion is that the Earth is flat because that's just not reality. Like if
But
there's a famous
Brett-
person who has a TV who like has a YouTube channel and they do little videos where they're talking to the camera and in the background is a piece of art that they purchased from an artist and have hanging on their wall. Somebody can't go around reproducing, like making merchandise or reproducing it using that piece of art because that piece of art is still a copywritten piece of art. So, I mean, yeah, it's complicated, and this type of stuff always is complicated, but, you can't just declare that something is public domain because, that'd be nice if that were the case, and it would make it easier for everybody.
I was going to bring it up that the jury, at least the precedent that was set in this, does somewhat. We're going to call this like nobody really wins, nobody really loses, but there is a precedent that has been set here. The jury did rule that the tattoos do not come under fair use, and that the name of the artist was Catherine Alexander. She was entitled to $3,750, which is pretty much what you would pay a stock photographer for a stock photography agency for use of a license to be used in a massively distributed commercial way. So, yes, it does. It's the same thing where if you have graphics inside of your video game, if you have graphics on a TV show, then you need to own those graphics before you put it out there. That doesn't mean paying somebody on the back end unless they're trying to really strike that deal, and then you can just say, no thanks, goodbye. But it does mean paying them for something. In this case, $3,750 for the rights to use this artist's tattoo designs in this video game. So that's not terribly unusual. And no, it isn't fair use. It isn't public domain or anything like that. But there is a difference between a television show and a video game. I'll say that, and we won't get further into that because none of us are lawyers. Ha ha ha. But
I mean, the way that I see it is, we're talking about the artists, we're talking about the companies, the people who I think should be responsible in this case is the athlete. It is, or the performer, whatever it might be, because athletes also have a ton of distinctive tattoos, some of which have become, associated with those athletes just because they're very visible. I think it should be incumbent upon the person getting the tattoo to, when doing so, have the artist sign a contract, a release for the artwork. And that's what, do it then and there. That way the athlete, the person with the art on their body, owns the rights to it, and then they can fully grant those rights to reproduce in television, in merchandising, in whatever it is they want, and then this is never a problem again. That's the way I think it should work out if it was an ideal situation. Randy Orton owned the rights to his tattoos, that artwork, and that was a deal that he signed with the artist when he got the tattoo. This would never have been an issue.
Right, but so I'll say in my version of an idealized world, 2K's legal department, which I am certain is not just one guy working in a back room. I am sure that they have a proper legal department. Somebody in there would have brought this up, and somebody would have made a call to the tattoo art or to Randy and gotten in touch with the tattoo artist, and somebody in that law department would have contacted the tattoo artist and said, "Hey, we're making a game. We want to pay you a flat rate just so we can have Randy's tattoos on." Just a reasonable conversation between two adults. Usually that's how you circumvent everything these days. So it's easy to point fingers. We all have our idealized version of how this could have gone down, and no matter which one you pick, it would have gone down better than it went down. However, to Zero's point, there were three aspects to this lawsuit. The first one was, is it fair use? The jury said, no, it is not fair use. Second point was, what are the damages that Christine Alexander should be paid? The jury said $3,750. The third point was to determine how much of the video game's profit was derived from the usage of the tattoo designs. And the jury said $0. Because realistically, if it was a big deal for Randy's character model to have these tattoos, or if they couldn't be Greeked or something like that, then the video game could have just omitted Randy, and it would have sold just as many copies. Kind of a slap to Randy's face. I'll give it that. My point here is not really supportive of him and all the hard work that he has done for the WWE, but there were not really a ton of damages here. So this lawsuit mainly centered around this artist should have been talked to in the first place, and she wasn't. It's like 2K missed her or ignored her, whichever. But yeah, that is the result of that. I'm not sure if we even covered the initial lawsuit when this started off, but we definitely got the conclusion. Randy Orton, and those are some sweet-looking sleeves.
Yeah, man. He is, every time he's gone out on like a hiatus, he comes back with just some awesome fucking artwork.
I think it would just make sense for everybody and make everybody's lives easier if just when you buy the tattoo, you buy the rights to the art as well. And if the tattoo artist doesn't want to do that, find a different tattoo artist. If you're a rich, famous, fucking powerful athlete or entertainer, you can certainly afford to find the best artist and pay them well enough that they'd be willing to give you the rights to the artwork.
This, by the way, in case everyone was wondering in our viewership, this does constitute fair use, because I'm showing the tattoos, but we're talking about a legal case and we're discussing our opinions on it. That's an example of fair use for education and public information. We were charging an arm and a leg so that you could play a character model that one of us designed, and then we scanned his tattoos and put them onto his arms in the character model. That is not fair use, according to the jury. So there we go.
Fair use is really complicated.
It is. I run into it a lot.
Everybody has an opinion on, but nobody actually knows what they're talking about. And I mean, I worked in news, and like we were explicitly trained in how fair use works, because we had a legal department who knew what we were allowed to do without getting us in legal trouble. So. It's hilarious the amount of things that you see online, on Reddit, on Twitter, on YouTube.
Reddit is the worst.
Everywhere. It's everywhere. Nowhere, it's everywhere. They're all awful. The entire internet is dumb by and large. but nobody understands what fair use actually means.
Fair use is rolled in, as again, I encounter it a lot professionally. Fair use is another thing that often gets rolled into royalty-free. The two are obviously extremely different, but they share similar aspects. The main difference being that royalty-free is usually something that you pay a license for. Fair use, you don't pay a license for it. You are using it under a very specific set of circumstances. But an example of this, I don't know if anybody remembers, a long time ago, when I think Zero pointed out the avatar that someone was using, and I just backwards Google searched it for fun and discovered that it was indeed a piece of royalty-free work. However, royalty-free has many, 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 many little subsections. And under royalty-free, you can restrict certain usages. For example, branding. That is an example of the convoluted systems that we have for things that are quote-unquote free. So, if you work in an industry where you have to deal with copyright or royalty issues, then you are probably fairly well versed in this, or you have a department that is devoted to it exclusively, and you just pass things off to them. Otherwise, yeah. Don't guess. Don't try to guess. You'll probably be wrong. And it's the Zero Power Hour, because next up we have Blizzard announces that World of Warcraft's Dragonflight expansion launching November 28th. I'm gonna go take a shit. Zero, it's all you.
Don't worry, it's not going to last that long. You
Nuts.
probably shouldn't go take a shit. I'm sure there are nuts in your shit.
I'll get a popcorn
Just-
tin.
The announcement was made that the game is coming out on the 28th. Everybody in the WoW community is like, wow, okay, that's like a month ahead of what you said. Are you sure you want to do this? And Blizzard is going forward. They have said that they are going to do this, and there are a lot of people that are pissed off at the fact that it's coming as soon as it is, but it's not the same week as Thanksgiving, because a lot of people have Thanksgiving week off. Good for them. But they're like, oh, well, why couldn't they do it the week before? Probably because they don't want to have the raid launch the week of Christmas. That's why. So they're pushing it out a week so that they can have that 4-week window and do the raid launch either the week before Christmas or the week after Christmas, one of the two. So, but
Alrighty.
that's it. That's all I want to say about that, because I have not pre-purchased it yet. I am waiting to see how hard it fails before I decide to do that.
Wow. Not as an expression of awe, just recapping World of Warcraft. Wow. There you go. We'll stick with Blizzard. And just blow through this one, because I think you also posted this. But Overwatch 1 is dead. Blizzard shut off... Oh, you posted that one, thank you. Blizzard shut off servers noon, so that it can prepare for Overwatch 2 going live tomorrow, which will be Tuesday, which will be the day people listen to this.
Yeah, by the time this is out, Overwatch 2 will be it, and Overwatch 1 will be done and gone. Bye!
So now we get to see how the seasonal progression ladder works. We'll get to see how the fan base reacts to unlocking characters through the season journey, and we'll get to see how many people just crumble under the pressure and buy the deluxe season pass so that they can unlock characters immediately.
I mean, I'm fully anticipating another Diablo Immortal situation where everybody is going to be, YouTube videos and, basically all the opinions will be about how bad it is, and then like 3 months later, they're going to be like, "We've made $5 billion."
That seems to be how ActiveBliz is doing these days. True enough. But yeah, there is this full article is talking about Overwatch 2 and how excited Chris Holt is to play it, and I hope that Chris is not disappointed. Nice article, Mr. Holt. All right, and now is the point in the podcast where we take a brief break, and I put Masami on the spot by asking her, what does she think that her D&D character for the one-shot is going to look like?
I am approximately in the same place that I was last time, unless things have drastically changed. But I was thinking a changeling, a shadow sorcerer, if that fits with what Omega has in mind.
Changeling?
Yes.
I've never played with a... Well, that's no surprise. Interesting choice, though. Could be fun.
Interesting choice. You're a drug-addicted pyromaniac gnome, and Zero wants to be a fucking minotaur.
Yeah,
Not just a minotaur, a ninja minotaur.
In case Masami... Yeah,
How does that work?
Yeah, exactly. How does that work?
He's extremely agile. Maybe he's closer to a... Oh, fuck. What was Mr. Tumnus?
A satyr.
Satyr?
Satyr, thank you. Maybe he's closer to a satyr than a minotaur.
At 6'7", 375 pounds, I doubt that.
Do you like being tall? I just gotta ask.
Look, I'm 5'6" in real life. Yes, I enjoy making my fantasy characters tall. Okay.
That's okay.
that's-
I am also 5'6", so I feel your pain.
My wife
Right.
swears that she's 5'7", or that she's only 5'6", and there's no way because she's at least 2 inches taller than me.
That's actually really cute.
Shut up.
Aww.
Shouldn't have mentioned it. Shut up.
Oh,
I'm
now
gonna
we'll
remember
never
that.
forget.
Yep.
Yeah, that'll be on the anniversary trivia. Just a heads up.
Fucking wonderful. Good job, Zero.
But-
Good job.
Okay, so Masami, if Zero plays character, if we're just assuming that we all play characters that we can live vicariously through, that we're, are like how we imagine or how we would really like ourselves to be in real life, what the hell does that say about me playing, first of all, a horny bard who cannot keep his mind on anything and just goes after boobs all the time, and my character that I'm designing right now, who is, again, a pyromaniac, drug-addled gnome? What
Are you playing an artificer?
No, I'm not. I haven't nailed it down. Omega and I were talking about wild magic sorcery, I think.
Ah!
Yeah. So if those are the people that I want to be, how boring must I be in real life?
You're not. That's the fun part.
You should look at an alchemist artificer, because drug-addled gnome just screams that to me.
You know who is an alchemist artificer is Taliford Metrin. Which is, again, created a whole character sheet for that dude. But that was for fun. But yeah, I was just curious. I just wanted to poke at you, maybe get a sneak peek at your character.
Probably gonna look like a dude most of the time, so... But changelings are fun like that. I can be whatever the fuck I want to be on a particular day.
Whatever my cook kit looks like, whatever the thing that I cook drugs on looks like, you just shapeshift into that and tease me. I can imagine some fun things with Changeling. Yeah. Alright, it'll be fun. Anyway, whatever ends up happening, I'm sure it'll be fun. That's the end of... Yeah, that's the end of that, that's the end of that, that's the end of that. Oh boy, Google is shutting down Stadia.
And refunding their customers.
That was the most shocking part of this entire article. So Google is refunding all Stadia purchases, hardware, software, and DLC. members of the Stadia team will be carrying this work forward in other departments at Google. So players have until January 18th, 2023, until the service will be permanently shut offline. At that time, Google expects to be done refunding all Stadia hardware purchased through the Google Store, as well as all the games and add-on content purchased from the Stadia Store. So that really took me back, because Stadia is about 3 years old, I think. I'm not sure how long ago their purchases are being refunded, but any refunds at all was really a surprise to me.
I mean, it seems like they're refunding literally anybody who bought anything at any point.
The article is worded that way, yeah. Which, if that's how it works, then hey, good for Google. I'll say it wasn't terribly surprising to me that they shut down Stadia, just because I don't ever remember it being terribly popular. And there have been indicators before this. I believe Google had an in-house development studio for Stadia games that got shut down last year, I think. So there were some warning signs that this was not going well for Google.
Yeah, I mean,
streaming games generally not going well.
When they shut down their in-house Stadia development team, that was when, it's like, all right, well, clearly they're not having much success here, so they try to just keep it going, providing, other people's games. But, yeah, at least they're paying people back.
Yeah, Stadia is, 3 years old? A little over 3 years? But yeah, this is, it's the end of one of many of a line of Google products, or Google projects, I should say, that ran their course. Google obviously got a lot of, I'm sure, valuable analytic and R&D information out of it, R&D discoveries, and they'll come up with something new. It's usually how Google works.
Yeah, Google's never been afraid to do a project, have it fail, and then take what they learned from that and use it to put it somewhere else.
Excuse me. I know none of you could hear that. Thank God I have push to talk. But I thought Stadia was a novel idea when it came out. The idea of decentralized hardware, essentially. The only problem that I had with it, that I think I maintained my entire time, is response time between your buttons and what happens in the game, and how Google was able to mitigate those issues. But streaming games, decentralized hardware is a very intriguing notion. The ability to be able to play something on your phone that your phone's hardware otherwise would not be able to support. It's kind of great. Also would be kind of great on computers. Not having to worry about upgrading your gaming rig every 5-6 years. Just connecting to a service. Having a potato for a computer, connecting to a streaming services, and being able to play the latest releases. That is, in theory, great. Just not... The world's not ready for it, but our kids are going to love it.
Yeah, they just couldn't quite work out how to get it to work right. It's a shame, but
What is not a shame, and I'm really happy that we get to focus on this for basically the rest of the podcast. We talked about EVGA dropping out of the GPU game last week because EVGA had all sorts of problems with NVIDIA, mostly NVIDIA's fault, and they were just like, nah, fuck it, this isn't worth it for us anymore, we're selling cards at a loss, we're done with this. This week, we get an announcement that Acer, which is another brand that I like, and I would promote Acer. Please sponsor us if you want to. Send me free stuff. I love your stuff.
My first Windows computer after an Apple II in my childhood was an Acer pre-built from Best Buy.
They're great. I use their monitors pretty much exclusively. And their laptops. Actually, Unella is hosted on an Acer laptop,
Neat.
which unfortunately is dying because it's older than dirt. It was old. It was old when I bought it new. But yeah, Acer has announced their first Intel GPU coming out. So Intel has an entire series of graphics cards that are largely ignored because they're usually either not in good competition or very much overpriced. But the Intel Arc A770, as well as the Intel Arc A750, will get Acer cards. Acer will be building the cards for those. And this article, Mr. Aaron Kultz, who wrote this article, it's a good article, but it doesn't really have a lot of specs in it. You're mainly talking about the fan design. And I get it. It's a neat fan design. Everybody can see it on screen right now. There is one blower fan and one direct air fan. So the direct air fan is probably focusing on a heatsink, I'd guess. And the blower fan looks like it's directly above the control or the of course I'm not going to remember the fucking name of the cuticores is what they're called in NVIDIA. So yeah, the cooling system on this card looks pretty cool. It also looks like it's a double wide card. Last week we were talking about how the RTX 300 or 3000 series and the RTX 4000 series are triple slot cards or triple thick, just for the cooling system to keep that shit down. And this is a double wide card with two very nice RGB looking fans. And it looks like a sweet design. That's pretty much where the article goes. So I went ahead and I looked at some benchmarks. And I gotta tell you, I was really super surprised. The Intel Arc A770 architecture actually beats the NVIDIA RTX 3060 series. And it costs it's priced to come out at $350. That's extremely reasonable.
Yeah, I was really surprised when I saw that.
Yeah, that's fucking great. I have there are Vulkan and Opencl test results on screen right now, and Intel Arc A77 beats RTX 3060 for both tests. It came out better. But what it will definitely not do is it will not compete with the AMD Radeon RX 6800 series. That one's still pretty fucking badass. And it will not compete with NVIDIA GeForce RTX the 3060 Ti or the 3070 series. So it is very specifically better than one of the 3000 series of RTX cards. But still, $350. That is, again, I got curious, went and looked at some prices. RTX 3060 is currently sitting somewhere around, you can get it from some dealer that I don't know, built by some company that I'm also not familiar for $350. But if you want to be safe, buy it from Newegg and have it built by MSI, you're looking at $380. So yeah, overall, this is a card that can compete performance-wise and price-wise, and it might actually make people start paying attention to Intel again. It's good stuff. I get a boner for this sort of thing.
We can hear it.
That with that
Yeah.
sound.
Yeah, I like that. I like I like
The
graphics
thump.
cards. The thump. But yeah. This is good stuff. God, the A770, it'll come with 16 gigabytes of VRAM, 4096 FP32 cores. That's 512 Xenon vector engines. Even the names just give me a semi-chub. Alright.
It'll be nice to see a new player enter the game, like I said.
Oh, the other thing that you said yesterday, Omega, was people giving shit to... Were they giving shit to NVIDIA for pricing their 4000 series the way they were priced?
Yeah.
Yeah, $1,600 and $1,200 for a card in this market seems stupid. And the internet apparently thinks so too.
Yeah, I told Doc yesterday. It's funny because people are like so much mad that they made it cost that much. They're just like laughing that they think people are going to pay that much.
Yeah. Good lord. But the graphics card market continues to crash. Prices continue to decline. And everybody should think about building a new computer for Christmas, I guess. Go ahead. You know, even if you don't have $5,000 to grow up, you know, go ahead and take a second mortgage. I'm sure the real estate market will be fine next year. Assuming that you have a house that you can take a mortgage out on, which most Americans don't.
Mhm.
And it's funny, because it's not. But yeah. There we go. Blew through those articles, wanted to make sure that Masami was here for all of it, and now we can talk about whatever the hell we want to. Finally, Kirby can log into Twitch! Happy to hear that, Kirby. I am now absorbed in watching Omega play Metro Exodus. I assume you're trying to stealth your way around.
Mm-hmm.
So now is a great time to have a technically minded, detailed conversation.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, so those aren't map coordinates. Why do they look like map coordinates, though?
Maybe they're map coordinates.
No. Okay, so to explain, thank you, Doc. That was insightful. It's fucking insightful. I appreciate that.
I made myself laugh.
For the last month, and I was telling Omega this, and I believe you may have been involved as well. The WWE has been hyping and
Oh god, are you talking about the
QR
Easter eggs?
codes and such. Yes.
Okay.
Tonight's is quite interesting, and I'm going to share my screen because I posted what looks to be some type of digitally generated code, and I don't know what type of cipher to use to undo it. But tonight's
Not even going to hesitate here. We're just going to go directly to your share screen.
so tonight's they posted a QR code during a backstage segment. I was able to pause it long
from
enough
Predator.
to get the QR code. It's from Predator. Jesus Christ.
It is from Predator. It's the countdown from Predator.
Is it?
Yes, I have an eidetic memory. those are fucking Predator
Christ.
numbers.
Okay, kind of makes sense now.
Well, yeah, I have no idea what if they've assembled it or if it's just a coincidence that a handful of those are exactly what was on the Predator's wristwatch. I have no fucking idea. But Salome, is that Salome or is that cutting Samson's hair? It's probably cutting Samson's hair.
The name of the painting is Samson Betrayed.
Samson. Okay, all right.
So, and behind it is a WWE hyperlink. So when you go to that, I've looked in the source code, nothing interesting in the source code that I can see. Then there's this magic eye thing down at the bottom. I hate these things. I could never see them. I never saw the train, and it irritates the shit out of me to this day.
Wait, wait, don't move, don't move. I'm trying to do it.
Okay.
It's supposed to be a train. It looks like letters.
No. It if it is letters, what does it say?
It's inverted because I can't not invert magic eye pictures. My eyes, okay, I know how you're supposed to do magic eyes, but my eyes don't move in the direction that they're supposed to. They move in the opposite direction, so everything looks inverted.
Makes sense. I mean, these I've never liked these
okay.
things.
S. That looks like a Russian letter. Pi A 4 M J equal sign something that whatever. I give up. I don't actually care
Okay,
that much.
so that's the first page. So when you go to this link, there is another portion on this side that somebody else was able to uncover. So I found it and put in the text. So this painting is,
Hercules?
I believe it is Hercules.
Glad to know I didn't learn all that art history for nothing.
Yeah, right. It's coming in handy for my deep diving into the WWE's convoluted fucking bullshit that I'm enjoying the hell out of because I love this kind of shit. Visual matches. So
6901209258022.
which that's trying to figure that out too, which is hilarious.
Come on,
But
Google.
I don't
this
know
looks
what
slick.
this. Yeah, this. Of course. So
it's Samson destroying the
Samson
Philistine
destroying
temple.
the Philistine temple. Okay, so both of these paintings involve Samson. One was the betrayal, one of is him tearing down the Philistine temple. So now it's just trying to figure out exactly what that ties to, and what this is down here.
Great. Okay.
So 8022.
The rest of the podcast is going to be an analysis on art history. I'm going to grab my notebook.
How big is this notebook?
It's from
It's
college.
actu-
It has
it's actually-
dust that is thick as shit.
It actually does have some dust on the side of it here. It's not that bad. It's a quad ruled 100-leaf Roaring Spring composition book, and people used to offer money to copy my notes.
Nice. That does not surprise me with how detailed you get with the notes for our D&D sessions. Does not surprise me at all.
Yeah, it's awful. Actually, Masami has some scans of this book, so she could attest to the way that I record history. I use a lot of curse words. All right, so we're probably looking. What is that? From the Bolognese school, which would have been what, 1400s, mid 1400s.
Yeah, 18th century. Yeah.
18th. Jesus Christ! All right, we're going deeper into the book. So it looked late Renaissance, early Baroque to me, but that is not the case. Late Baroque. Let's see. Louis. Garden of Love.
But yeah, no. So this is what it's been every single week, or twice a week for the last month. Has just been the WWE using QR codes to get you to go down a quote unquote proverbial rabbit hole, trying to figure out who the White Rabbit is for these QR codes and stuff. If it's not who everybody thinks it is, the WWE is going to burn a lot of goodwill. A lot. They've already kind of spurned that when Vince was in charge, and they've started getting it back slowly but surely because Triple H has taken over. But they stand to lose that very, very quickly if it's not who they, if it's not who people have pretty much linked it to at this point.
So who are they equating Samson to?
Bray Wyatt, or Wyndham,
Huh.
or as his actual name, Wyndham Rotunda. He's the son of 1980s, early 90s wrestler IRS, who used to be a tag partner with Ted DiBiase.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing about these kind of publicity stunts is that they can't make it too complicated that people can't figure it out. And they also can't actually make it mysterious who it is, because you're right. Now everybody's either going to get pissed off that it's not the person everybody thinks it is, so it would have been a massive failure of a PR campaign.
Yeah.
But like, if everybody comes and says says it's this guy, what if it's not? Like, what if that wasn't it at all?
Yeah.
Like, how hilarious would that be? Like, what is
It
WWE
would-
going to be like? Well, fuck, the fans have picked him. We got to go beg him to come back.
Well, so what it'll end up being is Bray was let go under very, very dubious circumstances. He was the top of the entire industry when they let him go. Vince McMahon said, it's not working out. We don't like this character, when in all actuality it was, hey, I'm Vince McMahon. I don't like this character. You're not a muscle-clad meathead that I can use that I have loved since the 1970s. He got rid of him, and Wyndham dropped off the fucking radar. I mean, when I say dropped off the radar, I mean like he went home, he took his ball, he went home, and has not been heard from. Twitter, Instagram, nothing. No posts anywhere. And then all of a sudden, back in July or June or July of this year, he started posting again on his Twitter. And it was like cryptic stuff. So people are thinking that he, started working a deal with the WWE in that time frame, and this is the lead up to him coming back this Saturday at the pay-per-view.
Well, I mean, like I said, it's a fine balance. Hopefully they didn't tip their hand so much so that it's not going to be a cool surprise and unveiling,
No, absolutely.
Got to strike a balance. But yeah, it's had people engaged, so it sounds in that measure it's pretty successful. If it's actually him and everybody's happy with it.
Yeah. Well, the other thing that fans are excited about, and I posted it to you earlier this week, was that Daniel Cormier is actually, quote, refereeing a pit fight, a quote unquote pit fight at the pay-per-view this upcoming Sunday
Yeah, like that's hilarious.
or Saturday.
But yeah.
I
He will
was
be
like,
quote unquote refereeing a quote unquote pit fight.
pit fight. Yeah.
I'll say this: they chose a fairly obscure rendition of this. I guessed Hercules obviously because he looked really strong, but then Samson destroying the temple. That's iconography and art history that one would recognize. These were popular things to paint, and many people did. But this specific painting was from Vittorio Maria Bigari, apparently sometime in the early 18th century. This was painted, and this is not a terribly well covered painting, at least not in this notebook. I could get up my Jensen's History of Western Art and look in there. But I am.
That Doc,
Also
I love that
probably
Doc
just
is.
check Wikipedia.
No, go ahead and look up for Vittorio Maria Bigari, Samson destroying the pillars of the temple. Go ahead and do that. Try to look at the Wikipedia page.
Give you a headache, or is it just awful?
Just doesn't exist.
Oh.
What's the artist's name?
I'll post it for you in the Discord. there you go. So, if Wikipedia doesn't have one for that painting specifically, I'm sure I can learn all about the artist. Well, born in Boulogne. Yeah, I have an article stub here for the artist, but nothing about that specific Samson painting.
Well, it's interesting that they found something, or are using something relatively obscure.
Right.
It's neat.
But if you want to learn, I mean, if you just generally want to know about the story of Samson and the various ways that people have depicted Samson and Delilah over the years, especially in the Baroque period, easy enough to do.
Delilah. Sorry.
Yep, that's probably it. That's probably right.
Everything I learned about Samson and Delilah, I learned from the Grateful Dead.
No one here is surprised. Not because that seems like the place you'd go for an education, but because we know that you love
The Grateful
Dead.
Absolutely. Yep.
They're going on tour, you know. I don't know if you heard that.
I did, and it's their final tour, and I'm gonna go. Shut up, Doc. Stop making fun of me.
I'm not. I wish you well. Honestly, yeah, if you're a huge Deadhead fan and you get to go to the final concert tour, yeah, fine. Catch as many of them as you can.
I like I said, I hope they hit at least Charlotte, if not Bristow. And I am willing to make a trek to Boston if I have to.
Hey, all you got to do is follow them to a state where LSD is legal.
They don't do that anymore, Doc.
No, I mean, I wouldn't either, honestly.
Yes.
I think after a certain age, LSD becomes not fun.
Nah, fuck that.
Mm.
It's awesome.
Drugs are bad, kids. Okay.
I will say that, yeah, the last time, we're into the post show, right?
Oh yeah. I
Yeah,
think we're
all
pretty
right.
good. Yeah.
We're definitely in the post show.
Fuck Putin.
Jesus fucking
Fuck
Christ. Yeah, fuck Putin. Kirby, I'm glad that you're back onto Twitch. Sorry, Masami, go ahead.
What do you call a one-handed pirate who doesn't bathe?
Oh God, I don't know. I don't know if I want to know.
Wait for it.
A dirty hooker.
Acceptable.
That was great. And that's our good evening pun. Goodbye, everybody. Thanks, Kirby, and whoever else all these users are. I have no idea who you are, but thanks for coming along. GG's, we'll catch you same time, same space next week. Penis, fuck Putin, fuck Winnie the Pooh.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome.
And now for the post show.